Okay, welcome back to the channel. This is Coach Mike. We're talking about disc golf discs today. This is going to be a completely different kind of in the bag. To start with, I'm an 860 rated player. So what's in my bag might be completely wrong. That's actually what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people to let me know what I can bag that's different than what I have that might be able to help improve my game. Now, a little bit of backstory on me just so that you know where I'm at. I've only been playing disc golf seriously for a couple of years. I have found that the Mamba in the end of a line, for me, flexes out to the right, holds its line, and then fades out left the most consistently. If I try and go more stable than a Mamba, I struggle with it. And I think part of that is because of the way I'm trying to throw power, and I'm trying to overcome that. Being a baseball player, all of my power has always been down here. So now when I think about throwing with power, I come down here, and my angle, a lot of times, I think I'm throwing from down here. I'm trying to make myself stand up straighter. As I'm doing that, I am finding that my Mambas are a little bit understable for what I'm trying to do, and occasionally I'll get them to turn right, and they will keep going right. So, what I want to do really quick is blast through what's in my bag, and I'm looking for suggestions from people who are 850 to 900 rated players that have some other thoughts or suggestions on what they're doing, and I would love some input from some people who are higher level players, 950 guys that have some suggestions on how I can get just a little bit more. I've been doing a bunch of different things this winter. I've got a resistance band disc that I've been pulling. One of the things I've found with that is it's making me pull more here. If you can see that disc angle, so I'm reaching out this way and I'm pulling here as opposed to bending over, and I'm actually releasing on more of a flat line, if anything a little bit of an Anheuser line. I'm throwing, I've finally gotten from breaking 300, I'm hitting 320, 325 fairly consistently now, if I get a good flight pattern out of it. Obviously, if I hunch over and I try and rake it, I'm still hitting 260, 270, occasionally 280. So, without further ado, what I want to do here is blast through this bag and talk about what's in my bag and see if you have any thoughts, ideas, or suggestions. So, what I want to do is I want to start with my putters. I've always liked the AVR putters just because that's what I started with. I've got no real reason for loving them, but I do. This one, as you can see by the stamp on it, is extremely beat in. Primarily I use this one for throwing, for shots that need to fade right, or turn right, sorry. When I throw this one, it'll turn right, it'll hold that line forever, it never comes back. So that's my one that'll turn right. For straight discs, depending on what I'm looking at, I throw a dart, which I really like. It's got good glide. Fairly straight disc. It doesn't turn left hardly at all. Throwing this one, I mean, all my putters I'm throwing pretty close to 200 feet right now. Occasionally, if I really get a hold of one, I can get it out there 250. But I like how that one holds a line, and I really like how it flies straight. Jawbreaker Roach. I have gotten to where I'm actually putting with the Jawbreaker Roach more than any other disc. I like the feel of the Jawbreaker plastic. The Roach, I mean, it seems to be really predictable, flies really straight for me. The cold weather here in Montana, especially right now, a lot of days that we're throwing is right around freezing. I like the feel of that plastic in my hand. So right now, I've only got one Jawbreaker Roach. I'm thinking about adding more to the collection. If you think I should be throwing something other than a Jawbreaker Roach, and you've got a good reason for it, feel free to throw a comment down below and let me know what a good putting putter is that feels similar to a Jawbreaker Roach, but give me the reason why you like it better. And then I've got a Challenger. I like the Challenger, just it's got some late fade for me. It'll hold a straight line for quite a while, and then it'll fade left at the very end. Really predictable disc. This one's pretty well beat in, but I really enjoy that one. And then last but not least, this thing is sick. I believe it's pronounced Baobab. I got this for a Christmas present from a buddy named Jake. This disc is so stable. I can throw it with a forehand, throw it just about as hard as I can throw a forehand, and it will, it'll turn a little bit, and then it'll fade out hard at the end. I'm getting it out there 200, 215 with a forehand. Throwing it a backhand is a joke for me. I do not have enough power to throw it with a backhand unless I need something like a short spike hyzer, something crazy like that. But yeah, this AGL Baobab, absolutely loving it for just some fun forehand shots where I can just really lay into it and just watch her go. So that is it for putters. Mid-ranges. From my niece for Christmas, thank you Brittany, I got the Get Freaky Zone. I love the zone. It's a little bit stable for me, I think, at times. I'm getting it to hold a pretty straight line, but it does fade pretty good for me at the end. I don't know, something about the Get Freaky Zone, I felt like I had to have it in my bag. Again, let me know if you disagree. I got a Mako. So this is a Glow Champion Mako. Buddy named Rain did the Remy dye job on it for me years ago. This is one that when the disc golf shop was at the batting cages, I pulled it out, first shipment that I saw it, I threw it and I was like, oh my God, I gotta have that disc. It's been in my bag ever since. Love the Mako, extremely straight, extremely predictable disc. I love what that one does for me. All right, next I got two buzzes. The first buzz is just a little bit more broke in. This one will fly straighter a little bit longer before it turns over, or before it fades out. This buzz is a little bit more stable still. It will fade out a little bit quicker. So I love my buzzes for a lot of my upshots. Again, I feel like a lot of my discs are really, really close to exactly the same. My Mako flies so close to the same as this yellow buzz, and the Get Freaky Zone flies really close to exactly the same as this orange buzz. But love them. I can't seem to find anything else that I want to replace them with. Again, if you have any suggestions, comment down below. Appreciate it. All right, Rock 3, a little bit more stable than all those. Really finding myself loving the Rock 3. I don't know if you've been able to tell or not yet, but a lot of my Innova plastic is in G-Star. I love the way the G-Star plastic feels. It's kind of like the Jawbreaker. Some of the others, I mean, the plastic of this one here, this AGL disc is kind of the same. Trying to remember what they call this plastic over there at AGL, but it's that same kind of rubbery feel. Anyway, Rock 3, love the way it feels, love the way it flies, extremely predictable for me, thoroughly enjoying it. And then I got a drone. My drone I really enjoy for throwing forehands. It'll give you that big S-curve if you need to get through trees. Works really well for me for an extremely predictable spike hyzer. If I'm looking at a 200-foot spike hyzer up around some trees and some stuff, throw the drone. Love my drone. Curious to see what else anybody else has that might be semi-close to the drone. Now we're getting into Fairway Drivers. Fairway Drivers, I've got the TL3, I got a TL3, I love the TL3 and the Leopard 3. Both of those discs, again, they're so close to the same. There's a 7.5 -2.1 and an 8.4.0.1. The Leopard 3 will turn a little bit more right for me. The TL3, wicked straight. I love the TL3. I've been throwing it a lot. But TL3 and Leopard 3 are two of my favorites right now. Even on some distance stuff, I really like throwing those two discs. So this one is also a Leopard 3. This one's in glow plastic. This is my thumber disc. I can throw a thumber, close to 250 feet. This disc, I mean, it just rolls out and pops back, and I mean, it's love, 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 love the Leopard 3 for a thumber disc. Then I got an Eagle. This is a 11-time Ken Climo. 11-time Ken Climo Eagle. This one for me, I love throwing on a forehand that I want to turn and then keep turning and just kind of hold that line for a long time. This one, it seems like the angle that I put it on, it'll just hold that line. So a lot of times I'll give it a flick when I'm needing to get out and around something where honestly a backhand will do the same thing, but sometimes my backhand will go too far and wind up running into the trees on the right, where this one will hold that line and not quite hit the trees on the right. So that's my 11 times rule. Alright, now we get into the bread and butter. First disc I ever owned that had purpose, G-Star Mamba. Second disc I ever owned that had purpose, G-Star Mamba. Third one, G-Star Mamba. Okay, this one's the most beat in. It'll hold right for a long time. Sometimes it'll stay right. This one's the medium beat in. It's kind of the same way. It'll turn right, fade back left. Pretty predictable. This one's the newest, and it will hold a line and then turn left. It doesn't hardly turn right at all yet. I am learning though that this G-Star plastic, as it beats in, it will definitely turn right and hold that line for a while before it comes back. I'm also learning that as I'm throwing harder, these 3 discs are having a hard time coming back. So I'm possibly looking for something to replace my Mambas, and I'm not sure yet where I want to go. I have recently ordered 3 Wraiths, or 2 Wraiths. I got 2 Wraiths. I also ordered them in 165s instead of 170s. I'm thinking a little bit lighter might give me an advantage of a little bit more turn before it fades out. I don't know yet. I don't have them in my hand yet. I've got some Wraiths in that file. There's some Wraiths in there, but they're not G-Star. One of them's a G-Star, but it's max weight and doesn't quite give me the turn that I want. So thinking about something to replace the Mambas. If you know of something that's close but just a touch more stable, feel free to throw a comment right down there. Hit me with a comment and let me know what you think. Very curious to see what's going on in people's minds. All right. Recently falling in love with the Pro Destroyer. Somebody in the comments, I'm sure, is going to say, try a Pro Destroyer. Trying a Pro Destroyer. I love the way it feels. I love the way it glides. I love the way it flies. The problem is I'm not quite throwing it hard enough yet. So maybe by standing up taller and getting a little bit more ante on that release, if I can pull it and drive it, maybe it. Still working on it, but it's in the bag, so it counts. And then a Shrike. Primarily a forehand disc for me. Occasionally throwing it on a backhand. Again, falling in love with it. Not really sure why. But the Shrike is in Star Plastic. We got another one back here. There we go. So I got 2 of the Shrikes. They both fly so close to the same right now that I'm bagging one just to try and beat it in a little bit more so that I can have 2 Shrikes that fly slightly differently. So there's the Shrike. And last but not least, oh no, I got 2 more in there. 2 more. I got a Sidewinder. My Sidewinder, it's a disc that I got early when I first started playing, and I love it, and I don't know why. And I don't even really throw it that much, but I have a hard time taking it out of the bag. I don't know if you guys have sentimental attachments to discs that you just keep bagging them and keep carrying them with you even though you don't throw them. I don't know, but he might fall in that category. And then last but not least, I've got a Boss. I used to bag an 8. No, there we go. I used to bag an 8. I was one of those guys that threw my forehand way up here, and I'd watch that sucker swing across and come back, and it had such a cool flight pattern. And then I learned how to throw a forehand correctly, and now the 8 just turns right, and not really helpful in my game. The Boss, I'm finding that if I really release it hard and flat, it'll hold that flat line for a long time, turning right or turning left just a little bit, and then fading hard right. Turning hard right for that occasional long shot. Forehanding this one right at 300. Sometimes I can get it out there 320, 325. But I love my Boss. Again, any thoughts, ideas, suggestions on something similar to a Boss that me and my goofy baseball form can release that release a disc on a line and have it hold for a long time. Definitely interested to hear your comments. Now, that being said, that's my pile of discs. I believe I'm carrying 22, 23 discs when I go to a tournament, when I'm out playing casual rounds, anytime else. Out of those discs, when I'm on a woods course, I'm maybe throwing 8 or 10 of them normally. I don't throw the thumber disc all the time. I don't throw the boss all the time. The Shrike doesn't get used every round. Primarily, it's the TL3, the Leopard 3, the Mambas, and then of course a couple of different putters get used all the time, and my mids. I use the crap out of all my mids. So, again, I appreciate you guys being here. I appreciate you watching to the end. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on discs that I could replace, please comment down below. If you see anything that's like, dude, you got to try this, give me a shout out, let me know, and we'll see what we can do. Other than that, get out there, throw some discs, and don't forget, recreating is cheaper than therapy.